Hello, and welcome to the Sleepy History Channel After Dark. Tonight we're drifting off into the history of Valentine's Day, how it started, how Cupid got involved, and what it means. Let's dive in. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine February in ancient Rome. The air is crisp, winter still holding the city in its grip, yet something is stirring, a feeling of anticipation, of life returning. For it is in this month, as the days slowly grow longer, that Romans celebrated fertility, love, and the promise of spring to come. Our story begins not with chocolates or roses, but in the mists of the 3rd century, in an empire that would lay the foundation for a celebration we still honor nearly 2,000 years later. This is the story of Valentine's Day, a tale woven from legend, faith, defiance, and the enduring human desire to celebrate love. Long before Valentine's Day existed, ancient Romans observed a festival called Lupercalia, held each year from February 13th to 15th. This was a fertility celebration, wild and primitive, dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, and to Romulus and Remus, the mythical founders of Rome. Picture the Luperci, priests of this ancient order, gathering at a sacred cave on Palatine Hill, where Romans believed the infant twins had been nursed by a she-wolf. They would sacrifice goats and a dog, animals chosen for their connection to fertility and purification. But Lupercalia was more than sacrifice. Young men would take strips of hide from these sacrificed animals and run through the streets of Rome, gently striking women with them. Far from fearing this ritual, women welcomed it. They believed the touch would make them fertile in the coming year. The festival was chaotic, joyful, and deeply connected to the cycles of nature and renewal. In these same centuries, as Lupercalia thrived, Christianity was spreading through the Roman Empire, often in secret, always at risk. It was a time of persecution, when professing the Christian faith could mean imprisonment or death. And it is here, against this backdrop, that a man named Valentine enters our story. The historical truth about Saint Valentine is shrouded in mystery and conflicting accounts. What we know is that there were actually several early Christian martyrs named Valentine or Valentinus, and the Catholic Church recognizes at least 2 Saint Valentines who died on February 14th in different years during the 3rd century. One was a priest in Rome, another was a bishop in Terni, a town in central Italy. Some scholars believe these may have been the same person, while others think they were distinct individuals whose stories became intertwined over the centuries. The most enduring legend tells of Valentine as a Roman priest during the reign of Emperor Claudius II, known as Claudius Gothicus, around 270 AD. Claudius, it is said, had issued a decree forbidding young men to marry, believing that unmarried soldiers made better warriors, unattached, focused, willing to die for Rome without the distraction of wives and children waiting at home. Valentine, the story goes, saw this as an injustice against both love and God's design. In secret, he continued to perform marriage ceremonies for young lovers, defying the emperor's command. He believed that love was sacred, that the union of 2 souls was ordained by something far greater than any earthly ruler. For months, perhaps years, he conducted these forbidden weddings in hushed voices, by candlelight, binding couples together in the eyes of God, even as the empire prohibited it. But secrets, especially dangerous ones, rarely remain hidden forever. Valentine was discovered. He was arrested and brought before Emperor Claudius himself. Some accounts suggest that Claudius actually liked Valentine at first, finding him intelligent and persuasive, until Valentine tried to convert the emperor to Christianity. This sealed his fate. Valentine was imprisoned, And here another layer of legend emerges. While awaiting execution, Valentine is said to have performed a miracle. He restored sight to the blind daughter of his jailer, Asterius. Moved by this act and by Valentine's kindness, the jailer and his family converted to Christianity. On the eve of his execution, February 14th, Valentine wrote a farewell message to the jailer's daughter, signing it "From your Valentine," a phrase that would echo through the centuries, though its historical authenticity remains uncertain. On February 14th, approximately 269 AD, though some sources cite 270 or 273, Valentine was executed. The manner of his death varies in different accounts. Some say he was beheaded. Others mention different forms of martyrdom. He was buried on the Via Flaminia in Rome, and his grave became a place of pilgrimage. For the next 2 centuries, Valentine's story lived in the memories of Christians, a tale of sacrifice and devotion. Then, in 496 AD, Pope Gelasius I made a decision that would change the trajectory of February 14th forever. He officially declared February 14th as Saint Valentine's Day, establishing it as a feast day to honor the martyred saint. But there was something more deliberate in this timing. The Church, which had once been persecuted, now held power in Rome. Pope Gelasius was working to Christianize the empire's pagan traditions, and the wild, fertility-focused festival of Lupercalia presented both a challenge and an opportunity. By placing Saint Valentine's feast day in mid-February, the Church offered an alternative to Lupercalia, a celebration that honored a different kind of love, one rooted in sacrifice, faith, and Christian virtue rather than pagan ritual. Gradually, over generations, Lupercalia faded from Roman practice, its energies absorbed into this new holy day. February 14th had been transformed. What began as an ancient fertility rite and was sanctified by a martyr's blood would continue to evolve, carrying forward into the medieval world where it would acquire yet another dimension, one of romance, courtship, and the stirrings of the human heart. As we journey forward through time, leaving ancient Rome behind, we arrive in medieval Europe, a world of castles and cathedrals, of knights and troubadours, where the very concept of romantic love was being reimagined. It was the 14th century when Valentine's Day began its transformation from a solemn religious feast into something more tender, more personal. And the catalyst for this change came from an unexpected source, a poet sitting in a prison cell in London. Geoffrey Chaucer, the father of English poetry, penned a work in 1382 called Parliament of Foals, or Parliament of Birds. In this dream vision poem, Chaucer wrote of birds gathering on Saint Valentine's Day to choose their mates. This may seem like a simple observation of nature, but Chaucer was doing something revolutionary. He was linking Valentine's Day with romantic love for the very first time in recorded literature. Before Chaucer, there was no known connection between Saint Valentine's feast day and romance. After Chaucer, the association began to bloom like a flower in spring. The timing Chaucer chose was significant. In 14th century England, people observed that birds began to mate in mid-February, seeing it as nature's own celebration of love and renewal. Chaucer wove this natural phenomenon into his poetry, and in doing so, planted a seed in European consciousness that would grow for centuries. Medieval Europe was also the age of courtly love, an elaborate system of romance that flourished among the nobility. Knights would pledge devotion to noble ladies, often from afar, expressing their feelings through poetry, songs, and symbolic gestures. Love was becoming an art form, something to be celebrated, refined, and expressed through carefully chosen words. By the early 1400s, the oldest known Valentine still in existence was written. It was 1415, and Charles, Duke of Orleans, was imprisoned in the Tower of London after his capture at the Battle of Agincourt during the 100 Years' War. Separated from his wife, the Duke poured his longing into poetry. He wrote her a letter in verse, calling her Ma Trace Dowles Valentine, my very sweet Valentine. This precious artifact, filled with yearning and devotion, still survives today in the British Library, a tangible link to the origins of our Valentine's Day cards. The practice spread among the literate classes. Young men and women in medieval courts began exchanging handwritten notes of affection on February 14th. These weren't yet the cards we know today. They were personal letters, often elaborate, sometimes illustrated, always deeply heartfelt. The tradition was taking root, growing from Chaucer's poetic imagination into actual practice. But how did a chubby, winged infant armed with a bow and arrow become the symbol of Valentine's Day? To understand this, we must travel back even further in time, to ancient mythology, and then watch as these old gods found new life in the celebration of love. Cupid's origins lie in Roman mythology, where he was known as Cupid, the god of desire, affection, and erotic love. The Romans had adapted him from the Greek god Eros, who in early Greek tradition was actually depicted as a handsome young man, even a primordial deity present at the creation of the world. But over time, particularly in the Hellenistic period and later in Roman culture, Eros, or Cupid, was increasingly portrayed as a mischievous child, the son of Venus, the goddess of love. The Romans told stories of Cupid carrying two types of arrows: golden arrows that inspired love, and lead arrows that caused indifference or even repulsion. He was capricious, shooting his arrows randomly, causing mortals and gods alike to fall helplessly in love with the most unlikely partners. He represented love's irrational nature, how it strikes without warning, without logic, transforming hearts in an instant. As Christianity spread and pagan gods faded from worship, they didn't entirely disappear. Instead, many were absorbed into art, literature, and cultural symbolism. During the Renaissance, as Europe rediscovered classical learning, Cupid experienced a revival. Artists painted him in countless works. Writers referenced him in poetry and plays. He became a decorative figure, stripped of his divine status, but retaining his symbolic power as the embodiment of romantic love. When Valentine's Day traditions were blossoming in medieval and Renaissance Europe, Cupid was there, ready-made as a symbol. He fit perfectly, a figure associated with love's arrows, with sudden passion, with the mysterious force that draws two hearts together. By the 17th and 18th centuries, Cupid had become inextricably linked with Valentine's Day imagery, appearing on cards, gifts, and decorations. As centuries passed, Valentine's Day customs continued to evolve across Europe. In England, the tradition grew stronger. By the 1700s, it was common for friends and lovers to exchange small tokens of affection, handwritten notes, sweets, or small gifts. But the holiday was still relatively informal, personal, celebrated mostly in homes and through private exchanges. Then came a journey across the Atlantic. When European settlers arrived in North America, they brought their traditions with them, tucked into memory and custom just as surely as they packed their physical belongings. Valentine's Day arrived in the American colonies, though it remained a modest observance at first, overshadowed by more established holidays and the harsh realities of colonial life. But America, young and eventually prosperous, would transform Valentine's Day in ways medieval poets could never have imagined. The stage was being set for the holiday to become not just a day of romantic gestures, but an entire industry, one that would eventually spread back across the world, reshaping how billions of people express love each February. The Industrial Revolution was coming, and with it, technologies that would allow Valentine sentiments to be mass-produced, distributed, and shared on a scale that would have seemed like magic to Charles, Duke of Orleans, composing his lonely verses in his London prison cell 400 years earlier. The Valentine was about to become democratic, accessible to anyone with a coin to spend and love to express. The 19th century dawned with the rumble of steam engines and the clatter of printing presses. The world was changing at a pace unimaginable to previous generations. Factories rose where fields had been. Cities swelled with workers. And among all these transformations, something remarkable was happening to the way people expressed their feelings. In England during the early 1800s, the custom of exchanging valentines had become increasingly popular, but these were still largely handmade affairs. Carefully crafted notes adorned with ribbons, lace, and hand-painted designs. They were beautiful, personal, but time-consuming to create. Then, around the 1840s, the penny post was established in Britain, making it affordable for ordinary people to send mail. Suddenly, Valentines could travel distances, reaching beloved ones in far-off towns and cities. The number of Valentines sent through the postal system exploded, with hundreds of thousands exchanged annually. But it was in America where Valentine's Day would truly be revolutionized, and the architect of this transformation was a young woman from Worcester, Massachusetts, named Esther Howland. In 1847, Esther's father, a stationer and bookseller, received a valentine from England. Esther, then just a recent graduate of Mount Holyoke College, examined this imported card with keen interest. It was elaborate, decorated with embossed paper lace and colorful lithographed images. And in that moment, looking at this English valentine, Esther saw not just a pretty card, but a possibility. She had an idea. She could make valentines like this in America, perhaps even better ones, and sell them. With entrepreneurial spirit that was quintessentially American, Esther ordered supplies from England and New York: lace paper, colored embossed paper, floral decorations. She created sample valentines and gave them to her brother, who was traveling as a salesman, asking him to take orders. She hoped he might return with perhaps $200 in sales. Her brother returned with $5,000 in orders. Esther quickly realized she couldn't fulfill these orders alone. So she did something quite innovative for the 1850s. She created an assembly line in her home, employing a group of women who each specialized in different aspects of valentine production. One woman might focus on attaching lace, another on adding floral elements, another on assembling the layers. It was a small-scale factory, but efficient and creative. Esther Howland became known as the mother of the American Valentine. Her business thrived, eventually grossing $100,000 a year, an enormous sum in the mid-19th century. She had transformed the Valentine from a handcrafted luxury into an accessible product that middle-class Americans could afford. No longer did you need artistic talent or hours of free time to send a beautiful Valentine. For a modest price, anyone could purchase Esther's creations and express their affection. Other American manufacturers soon followed her lead. By the 1850s and 1860s, Valentine cards were being mass-produced across the United States. The designs grew increasingly elaborate: pop-up mechanisms, ribbon pulls, three-dimensional effects. Some were works of genuine artistry, small masterpieces of paper engineering and design. But not all Valentines were sweet. The Victorian era also saw the rise of vinegar valentines, or penny dreadfuls, insulting cards meant to mock or reject unwanted suitors. These comic valentines featured crude illustrations and rude verses, poking fun at people's professions, appearances, or romantic inadequacies. They were popular enough that some cities actually saw them as a social problem, with reports of hurt feelings and even violence resulting from particularly cruel examples. While paper valentines were flourishing in America, across the Atlantic, another Valentine tradition was being born, one that would prove equally enduring. In England, the Cadbury Chocolate Company had been founded by John Cadbury in 1824, initially selling drinking chocolate and cocoa. But in 1861, Richard Cadbury, John's son, had a stroke of marketing brilliance. He created the first heart-shaped box of chocolates specifically for Valentine's Day. Richard was not only a businessman, but also an artist. He designed elaborate boxes decorated with romantic images, cupids, roses, hearts, and loving couples. These weren't merely containers. They were keepsakes, beautiful enough that people would want to preserve them long after the chocolates were eaten. Women would save these boxes to store letters, ribbons, trinkets, and precious mementos. The association between chocolate and romance was deliberate and powerful. Chocolate was considered a luxury, exotic and indulgent. It was also believed by some to have aphrodisiac properties, a notion dating back to the Aztecs and reinforced by European ideas about the cacao bean's effects. By packaging chocolate in romantic boxes and marketing them for Valentine's Day, Cadbury created a tradition that spread throughout the English-speaking world and eventually far beyond. As the 20th century arrived, bringing with it new technologies and new ways of doing business, Valentine's Day continued to evolve. The greeting card industry was consolidating and professionalizing. In 1913, a company that would become synonymous with greeting cards began producing Valentines. Hallmark Cards, founded by Joyce Hall in Kansas City, Missouri, started creating Valentine's Day cards as part of their expanding line of greeting cards for various occasions. But it was in 1916 that Hallmark truly made their mark on the holiday. They began mass-producing Valentine's Day cards on a scale never before seen. Hallmark didn't just print cards. They revolutionized the industry by focusing on quality, sentiment, and artistic design. They hired talented artists and writers. They developed new printing techniques. By the 1920s, Hallmark Valentines featured everything from simple, heartfelt messages to elaborate designs with die cuts, embossing, and attached ribbons. The company understood something fundamental about human nature. People wanted to express their feelings, but they often struggled to find the right words. Hallmark's cards gave them those words, beautifully presented, ready to share. The phrase, "when you care enough to send the very best," would later become Hallmark's slogan, and it captured perfectly what Valentine's Day had become, a designated time to express what was often difficult to say aloud. By the mid-20th century, Valentine's Day had transformed completely from its medieval origins. It was now a major commercial holiday in the United States, with millions of cards sold annually, chocolate sales soaring, and florists doing some of their best business of the year. February 14th had become embedded in American culture as the Day of Love. As Valentine's Day blossomed into a full-fledged celebration of love in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, another tradition was taking root, one that would become perhaps the most iconic symbol of the holiday, the red rose. The Victorians were fascinated by what they called floriography, the language of flowers. In an era when direct expression of emotion was often considered improper, flowers became messengers, carrying meanings that words could not safely convey. Every bloom had significance. Yellow roses meant friendship, white roses symbolized purity, and pink roses expressed admiration and grace. But it was the red rose that spoke most powerfully, associated with Venus, the Roman goddess of love, and later with the Virgin Mary in Christian tradition. The red rose became the ultimate symbol of passionate, romantic love. Its deep crimson color evoked the heart, blood, and the intensity of true devotion. When you sent red roses, you were declaring love in its purest, most ardent form. The connection between roses and Valentine's Day solidified in the early 1900s. Florists recognized the commercial potential of this romantic association and began promoting roses as the essential Valentine's gift. But there was a practical challenge. Roses bloomed naturally in spring and summer, not in the dead of winter and February. The solution came with the development of greenhouse cultivation and, later, the ability to import roses from warmer climates in South America, particularly Colombia and Ecuador, which would eventually become major suppliers of Valentine's Day roses to North America. Today, it's estimated that approximately 250 million roses are produced for Valentine's Day annually, with red roses accounting for the vast majority. The tradition that began with Victorian symbolism has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. The world was plunged into darkness in the 1940s as World War II consumed nations and separated countless lovers. Yet, even amid the devastation, Valentine's Day took on new significance, perhaps especially because of the separation and uncertainty. Soldiers stationed overseas sent Valentines home to sweethearts, wives, and families. These cards often took weeks or months to arrive, carried across oceans on military transport. Women at home sent Valentines to the front lines, sometimes including photographs, pressed flowers, or lipstick kisses on the envelope. Valentine's Day became a lifeline of hope, a reminder that love persisted even as the world tore itself apart. The war years also saw interesting innovations in Valentine manufacturing, with rationing affecting everything from paper to metals. Card companies had to become creative. Valentines from the 1940s were often smaller and simpler than their pre-war counterparts, made with less elaborate materials. Yet their messages carried even more weight. Every "I love you" sent across battle lines was precious, potentially final. After the war ended in 1945, Valentine's Day experienced a boom as part of the broader celebration of peace and normalcy. Couples who had been separated for years were reunited. New families formed at unprecedented rates during the baby boom. The 1950s saw Valentine's Day become increasingly commercialized, with candy companies, jewelers, and department stores all promoting the holiday as an occasion for gift-giving. While Valentine's Day had long been a celebration for romantic couples, the mid-20th century saw the holiday transform into something more inclusive, a celebration children could participate in as well. The tradition of classroom Valentine exchanges began to flourish in American elementary schools during the 1950s and 1960s. Teachers embraced the holiday as an opportunity to teach kindness, inclusion, and friendship. Children would create or purchase small Valentine cards, often featuring popular cartoon characters, animals, or simple messages like "Be mine" or "You're sweet," and exchange them with every classmate. This democratization of Valentine's Day was significant. Schools typically enforced a rule: if you brought Valentines, you had to bring one for everyone in the class. This ensured no child felt excluded or unloved. The holiday expanded beyond romantic love to encompass friendship, appreciation, and the bonds of community. Car manufacturers quickly responded to this new market. companies began producing inexpensive box sets of Valentines specifically designed for children, featuring everything from Disney characters to superheroes. These often came with small envelopes and a class list where children could check off names to ensure they didn't forget anyone. The tradition also extended to small treats. Candy hearts with printed messages, originally created in 1866 by the New England Confectionery Company, Necco, became Valentine's Day staples. These small, chalky candies bearing phrases like "true love," "kiss me," and "be mine" were perfect for sharing with classmates. At their peak popularity, Necco produced approximately 8 billion conversation hearts annually, with most sold in the 6 weeks leading up to Valentine's Day. As the 20th century progressed and the world became increasingly connected through media, travel, and commerce, Valentine's Day began to spread beyond its Western origins, though not always without controversy or adaptation. In Japan, Valentine's Day was introduced in the 1950s by chocolate companies seeking to expand their market. But the Japanese transformed the holiday in a uniquely cultural way. On February 14th in Japan, it's customary for women to give chocolate to men, not just romantic partners, but also colleagues, bosses, and male friends. There are 2 categories: giri choco, obligation chocolate, given to male co-workers and acquaintances out of social obligation, and hami choco, true feeling chocolate, given to romantic interests. The Japanese innovation didn't stop there. Recognizing the one-sided nature of Valentine's Day, Japanese marketers created White Day on March 14th, when men are expected to reciprocate by giving gifts, typically white chocolate, cookies, or jewelry, to the women who gave them chocolate on Valentine's Day. The gifts are traditionally expected to be 2 or 3 times more valuable than what was received, a practice known as sanbai geishi, triple the return. South Korea adopted both Valentine's Day and White Day, then added a third observance, Black Day, on April 14th, when single people who received nothing on the previous 2 holidays gather to eat jjajangmyeon, black noodles, and commiserate about being unattached. These variations show how cultures adapt imported holidays to fit their own social structures and values. In other parts of the world, Valentine's Day met with resistance. In some countries with strong traditional or religious cultures, the holiday has been viewed as a Western import that conflicts with local values or customs. Despite this, Valentine's Day has continued to spread globally, aided by international commerce, social media, and the universal human desire to celebrate love and connection. As Valentine's Day grew into a major commercial holiday, various industries recognized the opportunity to connect their products with romance and love. Perhaps no industry was more successful at this than the diamond business. In 1947, the De Beers Diamond Company launched one of the most successful advertising campaigns in history, with a slogan that would become embedded in cultural consciousness: "A diamond is forever." The campaign, created by copywriter Francis Geraghty, positioned diamond engagement rings not merely as luxury items, but as essential symbols of eternal love and commitment. While diamond engagement rings had existed before, they were not universal. De Beers marketing transformed them into the expected standard for proposals, and Valentine's Day became one of the most popular days for engagements. The pairing was natural, a holiday dedicated to love combined with the ultimate symbol of romantic commitment. By the 1990s and 2000s, jewelry companies were reporting that Valentine's Day had become the second most popular day for marriage proposals in the United States, surpassed only by Christmas Eve. The diamond industry actively promoted Valentine's Day through advertising, suggesting that diamonds, whether in engagement rings, necklaces, or earrings, were the ultimate expression of love. This marketing brilliance created a self-perpetuating cycle. As more people proposed on Valentine's Day or gave diamond jewelry as gifts, the association between diamonds and February 14 strengthened. Today, jewelry sales during the Valentine season account for billions of dollars annually, with an estimated 6 million couples getting engaged on or around Valentine's Day each year. The late 20th and early 21st centuries brought another transformation to Valentine's Day, one driven by technology that would have seemed like pure magic to Esther Howland and her assembly line of Valentine makers. The first electronic greeting card, or e-card, appeared in 1994. As the internet became accessible to ordinary people throughout the 1990s, companies like Blue Mountain Arts and later Hallmark began offering digital Valentines that could be sent via email. These e-cards featured animations, music, and interactive elements impossible in paper form. They were instant, free, or inexpensive, and could reach anywhere in the world with internet access. Social media platforms further revolutionized how people expressed love on Valentine's Day. When Facebook introduced its platform in 2004, it created new ways for people to publicly declare their affection. Relationship status updates, photo tags, and public posts became modern Valentines, visible not just to the recipient, but to entire networks of friends and family. In 2007, when the iPhone launched and smartphones began their rapid adoption, Valentine's Day went mobile. Apps for flower delivery, restaurant reservations, and gift shopping made last-minute Valentine's planning easier than ever. Dating apps like Tinder, launched in 2012, and Bumble, launched in 2014, created entirely new ways for people to find romantic connections, with usage typically spiking in the weeks before Valentine's Day, as singles sought partners for the holiday. By the 2010s, Valentine's Day had become as much a digital experience as a physical one. Couples shared their celebrations on Instagram and Snapchat. Virtual gifts could be sent through gaming platforms. Video calls allowed separated lovers to celebrate together across continents. The holiday had adapted once again, proving its resilience and relevance in an ever-changing world. Today, Valentine's Day has grown into an economic powerhouse. According to the National Retail Federation, Americans alone spent approximately $25.8 billion on Valentine's Day in 2023, with the average person planning to spend around $192 on gifts, dining, and celebrations. The breakdown of spending reveals the holiday's commercial breadth. Candy remains a cornerstone. Americans purchased more than 58 million pounds of chocolate during Valentine's week, with heart-shaped boxes being the most popular format. The greeting card industry sees Valentine's Day as its second largest seasonal event after Christmas, with approximately 145 million Valentine's Day cards exchanged annually in the United States alone. Restaurants experience one of their busiest nights of the year on February 14th. Reservations can be difficult to secure, with many establishments fully booked weeks in advance. The demand has led some restaurants to offer special Valentine's Day menus, often at premium prices, creating multi-course romantic experiences complete with roses, champagne, and chocolate desserts. Restaurants experience one of their busiest nights of the year on February 14th. Reservations can be difficult to secure, with many establishments fully booked weeks in advance. The demand has led some restaurants to offer special Valentine's Day menus, often at premium prices, creating multi-course romantic experiences complete with roses, champagne, and chocolate desserts. The floral industry reaches its annual peak during Valentine's Week. As mentioned earlier, approximately 250 million roses are produced for the holiday, but the logistics behind this are staggering. Most roses sold in the United States during February come from Colombia and Ecuador, harvested and shipped via refrigerated cargo planes in the days leading up to Valentine's Day. The coordination required, from farms in South America to flower shops across North America, represents a global supply chain entirely dedicated to romance. Even pet owners have joined the celebration. A growing trend sees people purchasing Valentine's gifts for their pets, with spending on pet Valentines reaching approximately $1 billion annually. Special treats, toys, and even clothing allow people to include their furry companions in the celebration of love. As Valentine's Day became increasingly commercialized, not everyone embraced the holiday with enthusiasm. Various counter-movements and alternative celebrations emerged, reflecting different perspectives on love, relationships, and consumer culture. Galentine's Day, popularized by the television show Parks and Recreation in 2010, takes place on February 13th and celebrates female friendships. What began as a fictional holiday on a sitcom has become a real phenomenon, with women gathering for brunches, spa days, or nights out to honor their friendships with other women. The concept resonated because it acknowledged that love and meaningful relationships extend beyond romantic partnerships. Similarly, Singles Awareness Day, sometimes jokingly abbreviated as SAD, emerged as a response to Valentine's Day's focus on couples. Observed on February 15th by some and on February 14th by others, it's a day for single people to celebrate their independence and freedom, often gathering with other single friends for parties or activities. Some embrace it humorously, while others use it as an opportunity to challenge societal pressure to be in romantic relationships. Anti-Valentine's Day sentiments have also found expression in various forms. Some people criticize the holiday as a manufactured corporate event designed to pressure people into spending money to prove their love. Others argue that love should be celebrated year-round, not relegated to a single day of obligatory gift-giving. In certain cultural contexts, Valentine's Day has faced more serious opposition. In some countries, conservative or religious groups have protested the holiday as promoting Western values or behaviors they consider inappropriate. In India, for example, there have been instances of political groups protesting Valentine's Day celebrations, viewing them as contrary to traditional Indian culture, though many young Indians enthusiastically celebrate the holiday regardless. These various responses to Valentine's Day, both celebrations and critiques, reveal something important. The holiday has become significant enough culturally that people feel compelled to engage with it, whether through participation, adaptation, or resistance. Valentine's Day has woven itself so deeply into modern culture that it has become a recurring theme in films, television, music, and literature, sometimes celebrated, sometimes satirized, but always recognized as a defining moment in the calendar year. Hollywood has produced countless romantic comedies timed for Valentine's Day release, recognizing that the holiday creates a built-in audience hungry for love stories. The 2010 film Valentine's Day, directed by Gary Marshall, featured an ensemble cast and interweaving love stories, all taking place on February 14th. It grossed over $216 million worldwide, demonstrating the commercial appeal of Valentine's-themed entertainment. But the holiday has also been portrayed with darker undertones. The phrase Valentine's Day Massacre entered American consciousness in 1929, when 7 members of Chicago's North Side Gang were murdered on February 14th in a gangland execution widely attributed to Al Capone's organization. This tragic event forever linked the date with violence as well as love in American history, creating an ironic counterpoint to the holiday's romantic associations. In music, Countless songs have been written about Valentine's Day or released strategically around the holiday. From romantic ballads to breakup anthems, the day has inspired artists across genres. Some musicians have released Valentine's-themed albums or special editions, recognizing the day as an opportunity to connect with audiences experiencing the full spectrum of emotions, from euphoric new love to painful loneliness. Television shows routinely feature Valentine's Day episodes as special events. These episodes typically explore the pressure and expectations surrounding the holiday, often with humorous or touching results. Sitcoms use Valentine's Day as a narrative device to advance relationships, create comedic mishaps, or explore characters' attitudes toward love and romance. While traditional Valentine's gifts, chocolates, flowers, cards, and jewelry remain popular, the 21st century has seen an explosion of creative and personalized gift options that reflect changing consumer preferences and technological capabilities. Experience gifts have become increasingly popular, particularly among millennials and younger generations. Rather than material items, many people now give concert tickets, cooking classes, spa days, weekend getaways, or adventure activities like hot air balloon rides or wine tastings. This shift reflects broader cultural changes toward valuing experiences and creating memories over accumulating possessions. Personalized and customized gifts have also surged in popularity, enabled by technologies like laser engraving, digital printing, and online customization platforms. Websites like Etsy have created marketplaces where artisans offer unique, handcrafted Valentine's gifts, custom portraits, personalized jewelry with coordinates of special occasions, books containing the couple's love story, or photo albums documenting their relationship. Subscription services have found their way into Valentine's Day gifting as well. Monthly deliveries of flowers, wine, gourmet foods, books, or streaming service memberships represent gifts that extend beyond a single day, providing ongoing reminders of affection throughout the year. Technology gifts have become Valentine staples for the digitally connected generation. Smart home devices, wireless earbuds, fitness trackers, or the latest smartphones might seem unromantic, but many couples view practical technology they'll use daily as meaningful expressions of care and understanding. Charitable giving in someone's name has emerged as an alternative for couples who feel they have everything they need materially. Donations to causes the recipient cares about, sponsoring a child's education, or purchasing items for families in need through organizations like Heifer International offer ways to celebrate love by helping others. Valentine's Day has become one of the most popular days for marriage proposals and even weddings themselves, creating entire industries around Valentine's-themed celebrations of commitment. The appeal is understandable. Proposing on a day already dedicated to love adds symbolic weight to the moment. Many people appreciate the built-in anniversary that comes with a Valentine's Day engagement or wedding. They'll never forget the date, and it arrives with annual reminders and celebrations already embedded in culture. Wedding venues and chapels report that Valentine's Day weddings have become increasingly common, despite the logistical challenges. Some couples embrace themed weddings incorporating hearts, roses, and red color schemes. Others appreciate the romantic timing without emphasizing the Valentine's connection explicitly. Las Vegas, perhaps unsurprisingly, sees a significant spike in weddings on Valentine's Day. The city's wedding chapels often operate around the clock on February 14th, hosting ceremonies for couples ranging from those planning elaborate celebrations to spontaneous elopements. Some chapels offer Valentine's-themed packages complete with Elvis impersonators, heart-shaped bouquets, and rose petal pathways. However, proposing or marrying on Valentine's Day isn't without potential drawbacks. Some relationship experts caution that the pressure and expectations surrounding the day can add stress to already significant moments. There's also the practical concern that if an engagement or marriage doesn't work out, Valentine's Day becomes a permanent reminder of that relationship. Despite these considerations, the tradition continues strong. Jewelers estimate that approximately 10% of all engagement rings are purchased during the Valentine's season, and wedding industry professionals have learned to prepare for the February rush of both ceremonies and engaged couples beginning their wedding planning. And so we arrive at the present day, nearly 2,000 years after Saint Valentine's martyrdom, 1,700 years after Lupercalia faded from Roman streets, and more than 6 centuries after Chaucer first linked this February feast day with romantic love. Valentine's Day today is a tapestry woven from countless threads: ancient fertility rites and Christian martyrdom, medieval poetry and Victorian flower language, American entrepreneurship and global commerce, digital innovation and timeless human longing. It is celebrated by billions of people across the world. Yet each celebration is deeply personal, shaped by individual relationships, cultural contexts, and private hopes. Some people embrace Valentine's Day wholeheartedly, planning elaborate surprises and romantic gestures. Others observe it quietly, with simple exchanges of affection. Still others reject it entirely, finding authenticity in expressing love on their own terms rather than according to calendar and commerce. What remains constant is the human need that Valentine's Day serves. Our desire to pause amid busy lives and acknowledge the connections that give our existence meaning. Whether through a handwritten note like those medieval lovers exchanged, a bouquet of roses, a carefully chosen gift, or simply 3 words spoken sincerely, Valentine's Day offers an invitation to express what we often struggle to articulate: that we love, that we care, that another person matters to us. From ancient Rome to the digital age, through centuries of transformation and across cultures worldwide, this February day endures. It adapts, it commercializes, it globalizes, it personalizes, but at its heart, it remains what it has always been: a celebration of love in all its complexity, fragility, and beauty. And perhaps that is why, despite all changes and criticisms, Valentine's Day persists. Because love itself persists, complicated, irrational, necessary, and eternal. This concludes this journey through the history of Valentine's Day. Thank you for listening, and please be sure and subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when the next journey through history is ready to embark on. Thanks again, and have a good night.